Shambho Mahadev. Om. So Bhagavan said that one pada of the Brahman are these dishas. And we explained about the dishas. So Prachiprati, the Krishna Udichi, consists in this whole thing is Brahman, and they are all manifested. In every stage there is manifestation. Why the manifestation has become necessary for the Jivatmas? Because in order for the Jivatmas to understand the Brahman gradually from the Treta, from the Krita Yuga to the Kali Yuga, in each stage when one passes through, various manifestations in various stages, various situations has happened. One is a manifestation done by Purusha himself. Because the manifestation of Purusha has happened, that is why from the Purusha the Prakriti has come. That's a manifestation actually. Then from the Prakriti there are various manifestations happening. And the ones that is there in the Prakriti have created certain manifestations in the Treta, depending upon their Jnanam. Dwapara, different manifestations, in Kali Yuga various manifestations have been created. So, in each and every stage various manifestations have been created. And each and every individual, each and every Jivatma, leaving aside the general principle of manifestation, with the quality of the manifestation, because this being the quality of the manifestation, being the quality of bifurcation in the Prakriti itself, when the knowledge could be acquired, the Paramarsha, that is the knowing the Jnanam, Vidya and Avidya, Jnanam and Ajnanam. Knowing the Jnanam, when the knowing the Jnanam, there used to be Tarka Shastras by the Tarka Shastras,
Chaturvedis. Charvakas. Charvakas, no.
It is something. Charvakas, by the Charvakas. By the Charvaka, that's why they are known as Charvakas. The Charvakas have created another manifestation. That is the argumentative, that's the Vaira, that's Tarka Shastra. So everything is, see how the manifestations have dropped down, and initially the manifestation was for the benefit of the universe. The Prakriti and Purusha Purusha created the Prakriti manifestation by the projection. Not with an intention, then there is a difference. Not with an intention. The manifestation as was necessary there. So this the manifestation quality has been brought down to a very low level of our in Kali Yuga, the manifestation of the mind even. Every thought we have started creating the manifestations of In Kali Yuga, every thought is manifested. Every thought, every intention, every imagination, everything is manifested into various parts. Even though the manifestation was necessary at one point of time in order to establish the truth, establish the Brahman, today unfortunately the manifestations have come down to that level that where it cannot be called as manifestation. I do not know whether it can be called as manifestation. The manifestation, the thought level, the thought has distorted thoughts, what we call distorted thoughts. These distorted thoughts are also a sort of kind of manifestation by the mind. So Maya, from the Maya to Maya, Maya to Maya, Maya to Maya, Maya to Maya, so many Mayas have been created, and each and everything there is a manifestation in that. Nothing is believed by the mind. See, why? Because the mind has undergone the experience of the manifestations only. Because it is undergoing the process of manifestations, it is experiencing manifestations, it is witnessing manifestations, it is undergoing manifestations. When so many manifestations are being done, the Ajnani, where Viveka is not there, when the Chetana is not there, Chaitanyam is not there in the Chitta, there has to be Chaitanyam. That Chaitanya, in the abhava of the Chaitanyam, in the scarcity of the Chaitanyam, in the non-process, that Chaitanyam is what? The processing energy. No? That processing energy is not available or not being used, then what happens? The perversion takes place. When the perversion takes place, the understanding of the pure Brahman is not at all clear. So the multiplication of the manifestations takes, branches of manifestations takes place. So one travels far from the truth. See, everything is manifested. Whatever you say, whatever you do, whatever, how many times also one listens to this, the mind doesn't understand. Why? Because it doesn't undergo the practice of unmanifest. The moment one word is listened by the mind, it starts manifesting. That too, not establishing. Because the mind is never establishing the truth. When I say, or when Upanishad says that the Brahman is this, Brahman, the witnessing of the Brahman also has been explained to the mind. The mind doesn't know that this is the Brahman. Only because, even though it is available, even though it is present, even though it is there, existing, it is the Brahman that which is making one manifest also, the helping one manifest also, but even then, the manifestation keeps on going. It is multiplications of the bacteria, like the multiplications of the insects, the multiplications of the bacteria, the multiplications of the manifestations in the lower level takes place. In the lower level takes place, when the manifestations in the lower level takes place, refuses to go to the higher level. How can it go to higher? It's impossible. That's why Bhagavan said Shravana is very important. Through Shravana what happens? The restrictions of the manifestation takes place. What is the Shravana doing? Vedanta, Veda instructs Shravana. I won't call it as suggest. Everything is an instruction practically. Instructs Shravana. Why? Because through Shravana only the unmanifest can be created. Limitlessness can be found out. These are all limited. Otherwise, what happens when manifestation is the limited stage? Unlimited takes place. There was a latest Tattula, very interesting. In this process, what happens? The manifestation, is manifestation not required? Manifestation was necessary at one point of time. So I was going through this article of this, since it is connected with this, so I thought I have marked all this. So I thought I will just read out this. It has been written by somebody who is by Atreya, Swami Paramarthananda. He has found it. He said the right way to gain the self-knowledge. So I just wanted to tell you how we had been practicing when it is confirming this. So I thought it must be shared, because it's important to know that also. He says that the author stresses that the Vedanta Upanishad alone is the means for gaining self-knowledge. This is what I was telling just now. Unless the Shravana of the Vedanta Upanishad is there, the distortion of the manifestation is necessary. Even for a Jivatma, manifestation of the Brahman is necessary in the initial stage. But that distortion should not be an imagination. People do not know today what is manifestation and what is distortion and what is imagination. The differences are not known to an ignorant person. They do take a number of janmas. Unless the practicing is done, it is not possible. A rigorous practice, that too. It has to, because one has gone into the dirt. The more you go deeper into the dirt, the more the dirt goes in. You see, through all this, the dirt goes in. The more deeper. If it is only superficial, the dirt will be only superficial. If you sink into the dirt, the more dirt is gone in. Now, washing out also it takes time, is why he is unable to do. So he says the stress, you see, these are all instructions. What did I say? Instructions. He says stresses, the author is stressing that. Stressing on the point. That means establishing it and giving you the importance of it, that Vedanta alone is the means to gain self-knowledge. Thus, Shastra, or what is Shastra? Shastra is nothing. Shastra is nothing unless it is Shastra or Shruti alone is the pramanam of the Atmajnanam, as well as worldly pramanams can reveal only the material world of the objects. The Shruti, I was just telling about Shruti, so I remembered about having read this. Unless Shrotram is there, Shruti is there. Even today people cannot spell Shrotram, cannot pronounce Shrotram. How many people can pronounce Shrotram? Anyway, Shruti, the listening, the power of listening, the quality of listening. What is the power of listening? Power of listening is not when we listen to them. We have heard about power of listening, power of talking, power of speaking, power. We call only power. We know only power. What is that power? What is that power? Power is that? The capability of listening is power. Power of resistance, they say. Capability of listening. One cannot listen at all. They are not capable of listening. Most of the people are not capable of listening. We all think that we are all capable. When it is heard, what is the percentage of listening that has been done? Not hearing. That's why Shrotram they said, Shruti they said. Shruti is not just talking. I tell you about the Bravini, the Bravacha, Uvacha and Bravini. We have told about Brava. Same way Shrota, he said that establishing the gaining the Shastra. Shruti alone is the pramanam of the Atmajnana. It's established in order to have. Unless that Atmajnanam comes, this is called the Chaitanyam. If that Chaitanyam is the instrument in order to identify, if the Chaitanyam is there, then only that instrument of Chaitanya will make it reveal, make it analyze, make it establish the identification of the Brahman is there. If the Chaitanya is not there, identification of Brahman itself is not there, because it will be an imagination, it will be a dream, it will be an imagination, another story read in a newspaper. That's all. Because for the mind, everything is like newspaper, that's all. Today there is a news, tomorrow contradictory news, day after tomorrow establishing news, another news changes, keeps on changing. Shrotram, Shruti never changes. But mind, the non-established mind, the one who is connected with the limitations, that mind will never understand how the change is not done to the Shruti. It is not used to it, you see. It is used only for changes, otherwise it's not attracted. It's not attractive for that. Shruti is not changeable. That which is changeable is not Shruti. That which is changeable, not Shrotra. That which is changeable is not Brahman. That, see, Nityam Anityam we said, permanent and impermanent. Permanent and impermanent. Variations are there. These variations have been created by the mind. See, today everything is confusing. What is not confusing to you today, tell me? Honestly. One drinks a glass of water. Should I drink one more glass of water? Then immediately discussion comes, Somebody has written that 7 glasses of water should be taken. It will be good for skin. It will be good for digestion. But I am taking only 5 glasses of water, 3 glasses of water. Should I take more now or should I take later? Is this water is consumable or not? No, the bifurcation. Now, the imagination goes or the mind goes into distortion and it is enjoying that, you see, because this is the habit of the mind. But he says that the gaining of the self-knowledge, Shastra, Shruti, Shrotram should be done. Absolutely establishing, not allowing the mind to interfere in that and establishing the truth of it. How many of us are able to establish the truth in the mind? We have to establish the truth in the mind. The mind has to be converted into the truth, not that. So, means of knowledge. So this is one thing I wanted to, which is connected with us. So it's why I got interested in that. Then he said that other things, a few things are there. I would like to go through it. Very much connected with the subject, not going away from the subject. Chandogya Upanishad 6:14 and 2, which declares that only the seeker who has been taught by a guru will gain knowledge. Acharyavan Veda. That's what we are going to talk. That's what I am saying here. Why I am saying that is here, that I am going to talk only now, because it's coming here. In the next few lines, few shlokas, it will come. He says that which declares that only that seeker who has been taught by the Guru will gain knowledge, Acharyam. Otherwise it is Acharyavan Veda. Acharyam. Acharam. Again, Acharam. We named our book as Acharam. Is because of that. Acharya. Acharya, the one who is following the Acharya is Acharya. What is he following? He is following the Upanishadic principles. That's it. And Acharam is that one who follows the Upanishad, not that any Acharam, that means any practices that is being, normally Acharam is what? The practices that is being done. No? No, that's an Acharam. Somebody says that's an Acharam, it's a ritual. Acharam is also considered as, that's an Acharam. There is an Acharam. In our place also we talk like that. There is an Acharam like that. There is a ritual like that. It is not very necessary to go to that. None of them are the meanings. He establishes that Acharyavan Veda. He which declares that only that seeker, he says that, who has been taught, not anybody who has been taught. Again. So he is establishing that seeker who has been taught. Seeker means again, who would like to establish the truth in the mind, which is to be understood as establishing the truth by unmanifest status, that means creating a manifestation. Unmanifest state in the what is that? What is an unmanifest state? Unmanifest state is that manifesting the mind into the establishment of the Brahman as the truth. is unmanifest state. Contradictory, is it? It's not contradictory, it's complementary. It's an unmanifest state. That making the mind reaching the status of unmanifest. It's called unmanifest state. How does the mind to be reached to the unmanifest state? How does the mind to reach an inefficient state? Management technique again. When we go to the management. In management technique it is that told that one has to reach the saturation point where no more knowledge is required for that. It's a manifestation. Then only he becomes saturation then. He becomes saturated then. When he becomes saturated, he is changed his position. That's a management technique. Otherwise he gets bored of it. That's why a promotion is provided. In a promotion what happens? Either give more responsibilities, change of job, change of nature, change of place is also very important. Change of people, change of routine, change of environment, change of discussions, change of subject, departmental changes is very necessary. Only for those minds which are not learned, who have not learned the establishing the truth, they get bored of it. When they get bored of it, the efficiency of the mind goes down because the boredom takes place. Management technique I am talking, not the Vedanta. Well, it can be connected to Vedanta. The boredom takes place in the mind in the materialistic science. Why? Because it is being done the same routine job. That's why a clerk who is a clerk for 50 years, he doesn't do his job. By the end of the time, he has become inefficient. We say that, so many years he has worked, still he is not doing it. Actually, he is not doing it only after 20 years of his working. The initial 20 years of his working was very good because he is learning. Then he has established, this is the routine. He knows which file, where, take it. Same comments, same handwriting. He knows what to write. Probably he doesn't even read, he writes the same comment. Where it is necessary or not necessary, he keeps on writing that. What happens? Boredom takes place in the mind. Boredom. Why? Why boredom? Why? Because that's no more interesting to the mind. Mind needs, that's what I said, the mind needs this manifestations. Keeps on manifesting. That's what the material world is. Manifestation. So what happens? Whenever the saturation point comes in the mind, he has to be changed his position. Then only he gets interested again. That means to creating an state of unmanifest never comes as far as material life is concerned. In material life, keeps on till the death keeps on manifesting, that's all. Keeps on changing, keeps on changing, keeps on. Then only he is getting interested for the life. Somebody says that, without ambition, how can I live? Then what is the purpose of living? Many people must have asked, we all must have asked. What is the purpose of living without a desire? Then what is life? What is the purpose of something is not happening new every day? We are not attracted to life. The routine takes place and we are bored. But in Vedanta, what it says? Unmanifest status. That the status of the unmanifest has to be reached. Just opposite to it. So there, you have to reach the level of inefficiency in management. In material science, you have to reach the level of inefficiency. Yes. That means every time you have to be inefficient. That means from the efficient, very efficient head clerk has been promoted to an officer, he is an inefficient officer. Because he has been an efficient head clerk, has been promoted to an officer now. When recent, that means today, he is an inefficient officer. An inefficient officer will work more. When he becomes saturated in that officer inefficiency, then again efficiency, he comes to an optimal level of efficiency. Again you have to put him into inefficiency, then only he will work. He means what? His mind. So every time one has to reach to the inefficient level is called the management technique. That's how the management. That's why the management has created so many. Today you will find that every man is a vice president and manifest. What's the vice president? Same as what 40 years back, who was an assistant manager, is a vice president today. Nothing. No other designation. This is the designation. That's all. The designation is important again. No. Vice President, President, beyond that, whatever. So many things. They have to keep on changing. Why? Because they know that. Because the inefficient level of inefficient. One is at a position, somebody interested in money, somebody interested in the work, somebody. So they have to take care of all these levels in the management. That's why all these positions have been created. When you look at it, what is he doing actually? Head class job. That's all. Who is he? Salesman. And he has been sales executive, said that. For a salesman, today they call it as sales executive. Now he is his man. He has reached to the inefficiency level. Now he has to be executive. What is he doing actually? He is a salesman only. It is necessary. What I am trying to tell you is that there in the material science it is necessary. Why? Because the mind doesn't reach the saturation point. Mind should not reach there. In that case, what happens? The interest is lost. Why? Because in the material attractions, desires and attachments are there. So the optimum point of the static point of that unmanifest state should not reach there. Whereas in Vedanta, if it keeps on moving, we cannot identify Brahman. Why? Because Brahman is not changeable. Brahman is permanent. Brahman is Nityam. That which is Nityam, that which is not changeable, that which is the existence, that which is the truth, to identify that quality of that Brahman, we also have to become unchangeable, established and existent and the state of, we should reach the unmanifest status of the unmanifest, where changes are no more required. Yes. Why? Because the mind will not function with the emotions and attractions and attachment. And here, unmanifest state, in the material science, what happens? Every time the mind is attracted to desires and fulfillment of the attachment and fulfillment of desires, whereas in Veda, only a fulfilled mind can reach establishment of unmanifest state. That's why Shruti is important. Shruti will make you remove all the desires. I mean, gradually what happens? Making your mind no more there, where emotions will not function. That is not necessary. An attraction or a change or a manifestation is no more necessary for your survival or establishing yourself in this world. What do you want to do? You are striving on one part on the material science, when the desires are being fulfilled, attachments are being fulfilled. You would like to exist in this world of manifestations, whereas in Vedanta, you would like to go away from the world of manifestations and reach the status of the unmanifest, which is permanent and static. So you have to come to a static position, which is Brahman. Identification is why he said that the Acharya. That's where I said, started Acharya. Acharyavan Vedaha. He said. Then there is also a famous verse in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 34, which says the seeker should know Brahman by approaching a guru in all humility and reverence and expose himself to teaching. This humility and reverence we spoke in the last class about the samskara. Remember? That's it. What is reverence and reverence and expose himself to the teaching is samskara. How can he expose himself to the teaching? Who will accept the teaching? The one who is arrogant, I know all this. What is this fellow is talking? I know it already. I have read it in such and such magazine yesterday. Yes. Finished. He has closed the chapter of understanding. No more teaching. No more listening. No more understanding takes place. As I told you, in samskara what happens? In samskara is that which is developed Culture is not created. Culture has to be born. Culture, what is the culture? Brahman is the culture. Brahma, Sakshatkaram should be the culture, not the culture what we are. Even though we talk about development of samskara, development of culture, development of culturing. So here what he said, that seeker should know the Brahman by approaching a guru in all humility and reverence and expose himself to teaching. The humility and reverence, again, samarpana bhava, unless it is this or all we have spoken. So I am just referring this and that, you see. Scriptural studies under the guidance of the teacher is the next stage. It must be here. This also I repeat. Many of us were thinking, or many people ask me, why do you have to take so many classes? Take one Upanishad and ask them to do some meditation and ask them to go home. Brahma Sakshatkaram is over. Thousands of years some people have been born. Even then Brahma Sakshatkaram could not be. Is it not? Hundreds of years. So he says, what is this? It must be systematic. First of all, starting from one to the other. It must be systematic and consistent for a length of time. It's specific. Hammering to that mind. Why? Because it is not that easy. It is like that jelly. Make that jelly paste or something. Hammer on that, what will happen? When you hammer, it will go like this. After the hammer is taken, say, oh. Again hammer, it will go. No trace of hammer falling on that, is there? Will there be any hammer falling? That like that foam or some rubber or something nowhere? No trace of hammer, I say. Keeps on changing. So he said, why? Systematic and consistent for a length of time. I don't know how long. He doesn't say that. Naturally, nobody knows. Till the state, that unmanifest status of the mind reaches. Till then, the length, that's what the length of time. This process is known as Shravana. What's that hammering? Shravanam. Till the time it shows the the concave, convex formation, keep on hammering. That process is called Shravanam. For a long time this has been systematically keeping on going, so that the mind gradually removes the attraction, satisfaction, gaining satisfaction due to changes. Because the mind should realize and recognize the satisfaction that is why at one point of time the mind should be able to understand why I am not satisfied, even though I had been having so many changes. So many changes from the day I am born till today. I have undergone so many changes, so many ups and downs, we call it, in our life. So many ups and downs, that means changes. So many ups and downs we have undergone in our life, but still we have not learned, we say. Still we do not know where we are. So many changes have been taken. The mind is that which, with so many changes that has taken place, even then it is not satisfied. It would like to have again a change. And when a change comes, he would like to have another change. And again a change, again, everything, in every aspect. There is no one aspect which mind says, okay, enough, it's enough. No. In every aspect the mind is wanting change. Is it not? That's why these jewelry shops are flourishing in southern India and northern India. They will make this design, that design, this design. The moment you see that, mind is attracted to that. Now that design you should have. Otherwise the mind is not. The mind has been attracted to that. When it has come, then the 20, 30 years back what design was there, it has come back again. You see. Now, which I have gave and replaced with a new one. Now I will give the new one and replace with the old one. Mind is that he won't change only, that's all. Mind is happy. Huh? Keeps on doing. Mind is happy only then. Then only it's happy. Is it happy? So, through the Shravanam what happens? Through the constant Shravanam with the systematic and consistent for a length of time listening, which is known as Shravanam, when it happens, the mind should start realizing this change which has been making me, keeping on making me unhappy. No? Should come to a standstill, and I should be happy. I deserve to be happy. But I am only unhappy. Throughout my life I am unhappy. Somebody said throughout that unhappiness makes you living the life. No. You are only spending your time of this life, that's all. Not living the life. Living the life is totally different. I have already explained what is called life and what is called living. Living the life is different. Spending the time of this life that has been given. One is that wasting, idling the time. We call it as idling the time. Another is benefiting out of the time. He doesn't have time. Keeps on living, so he doesn't have time. Another is just idling the time. Is that what? We keep on changing, looking for new things to live. One is that he keeps on looking for new things to live, is that change in the mind. Another is that when through the Shravanam what happened, he comes to a static point where the absolute, the permanency takes place. Manifestation, the status of unmanifest takes place. So where one gains the knowledge of his real nature through the revelation of the scriptures from the Guru, not according to your choice, not according to your emotions, not based on. No? One understands this as it has been written by Maharishi Vaishambhayana, projected by Maharishi Vaishambhayana and Yajnavalkya, then it is okay. But how many? It's not possible. The scriptures have to be, here it comes, that's why I am saying that. Scriptures have to be listened from the Guru. Even a Devata is not eligible for it, is what Upanishad says, establishing it. Even it comes here. That's why I am saying this is very much related. Yes, referred Chandogya Upanishad only, so all the more I'm just wanting to tell you this. So, the next process is removal of the intellectual and logical doubts, contradictions related to teaching by internal reflections with the guidance of the Guru, so that this knowledge becomes the doubtless conviction. I was telling you, doubtless conviction. That which is there, manifesting, keeping on changing and thinking and identifying the meaning of the words. No, what is it? The play of the words, meaning of the words through logical reasoning, through manifestations of the mind, depending upon their. What is the manifestations of the mind? Based on what basis the mind is manifesting. If it is like Purusha manifesting the Prakriti, then that manifestation has got meaning for it. But mind is manifesting depending upon what? Depending upon his emotions, and he is creating manifestations. No, it's not happening actually. He is changing according to his emotions. How can he make changes? How can he think something? He thinks only based on his culture and samskara and emotions, temporary emotions. We also tell that, no, look at that, what is the culture of this person? He thinks like that only. He talks like that only. He behaves like that because of his culture. What is that? The learning of the past, the experience that you have got in your past, karmas that you have executed in the past, karma bhalas that you have acquired in the past. These are all we have spoken. Karma bhalas, and you live only utilizing that experience. That's all. You are not improvising it. You are born, in fact, in order to correct it. You are born in order to correct it, but instead you are using that experience and do it. Yesterday I did, so I will do the same thing today, is the meaning of it. Improvise is called. How will you improvise? Systematic and consistent Shravanam for a long time. So that this changes can karma. How can I do my karma in the right manner? It's not that take it. Tomorrow onwards I'll change my karma. You know, you can inhale through the nose and change your karma. For a long time, you have to have the Shravanam of the Shruti, Shravanam of the Shruti through the Guru who explains you to the true, more or less true representation of the fact of the Brahman, depending upon your level of knowledge of understanding. With those examples of those level of knowledge of understanding, he guides you practically to that. When you talk to a child, you will say that the fearful, what is that? In the night, or Pishach, the evil spirit comes. Oh, it has got, to the amstram is there like that, and the hairs will be like this, and you create a rupa for a child to perceive it. Yes. But when you grow yourself, then you have got a perception of Pishacha is totally different. Because you are seeing the Pishachas every day. So your perception of Pishacha is different, Pishachika is different. But for a child you will explain something like that. Same way, Guru, what he does, depending upon your level of knowledge, your level of understanding, he has to represent that, has to be seen. How to tell that? So, various methods have it. That's why he said, the systematic and consistent for a length of time. Why length of time is required? Because of this. Otherwise what happened? Brahma Sakshatkaram is 1 second. That's all. It's 1 second. But to have that 1 second, all this has to be done. Like as I told you, to explain the child what is called this, you take a different tactics. For an educated man this, for an illiterate man this, for for so and so it is like this. For each and every one, I have a different perception of the evil spirit. Paishach. Same way, he, in order to make you understand the Brahman, the Guru leads you through that your experience, and who should be ready with the humility and reverence and expose himself for teaching if he is ready. Then he takes you through the long time of, constant listening of the Shravanam of the Upanishadic or Vedic texts, which are the truth. Why we say Vedic texts? Because it is not manifested, it is not created by the self, it is created by those who are capable of listening the Shruti from the, from the atmosphere, from the God, we call it as God. It's not that they have created it. That was a Shruti, it has come to them, so they inscribed it in a manner it can be understood by the others. So this listening, constant listening, purifies, as I told you. Of course, this I have told you in a different manner, that constant listening, like, keeping on pouring water in the milk. What happens one day? There is no trace of milk at all. This is what example I have told. And that's a simple way of understanding. Same thing is telling in a different way. So, it's called that. Then, after that, this is known as the Mananam. After the Mananam is done, then he says followed by Nididhyasanam, where seeker exclusively dwells on the teaching in the structured way over a long period, so that the teaching is assimilated and internalized and the tendency to consider oneself as limited and mortal physical being confined in the boundaries of the body-mind complex is removed. Absolutely finding the Brahman as it is. So, nature of the self. This is what. Then one more underlining, I'm seeing it. Let me see what is it. The chapter ends with prostrations to the teacher, conveying gratitude for the successful completion of the topic. The Guru is praised as one who helps the seeker cross the ocean of the samsara by providing the knowledge. There are also solutions to Ishvara, who is free from all the attributes. Saguna Nirguna Swarupam. This is what establishing the truth of the Upanishad is. What exactly? I am just taking a reference so that it gives us a confirmation. See, as I told you, the mind is suspicious. Whether this man, what he talks, is right or wrong. Sometimes it happens. Some comes in the mind. Why? Because the mind needs a inefficient level of it. You have to reach an inefficient. So, it's the same thing. Is it right? That to remove, no, this is necessary. Then establishing the truth is essential. Because here we believe in majority, we don't believe in the truth. I always said that from the inception of my teachings, of my classes, I used to tell that majority is not right.
Right is right.
But your mind is not like that. An ad comes today in the newspaper and tomorrow magazines and in the SMS, and then some people also tell that this shop is selling the best product. So many people, there should be some fact in it. Come on, let us also go crowded. Selling the third class material and buy it very stamped and all that. Level of inefficiency. No, we don't require that level of inefficiency. We have to reach the status of what. Why did I prompt? I don't know what did prompt me to tell all these things to you. Is reaching the level of unmanifest. Status of unmanifest. The difference between manifest and unmanifest is that reaching the level of unmanifest is that manifesting the mind to understand the establishment of the truth of the Prakriti and Purusha and the Parabrahman, and being stable to that is the status of the unmanifest through the manifestations. So listening to this is a manifestation. Now what is happening? This, whether it is towards the materialism or whether it is towards the spiritualism, it's a manifestation that is happening to the mind. One is in materialism or as I told you that reaching the level of inefficiency, the manifestation takes you towards more and more of attractions and manifestations, and spiritualism takes you from the spiritualism takes you through manifestations of the mind toward the unmanifest. One is reaching you towards the static absolute stillness, another is taking you towards the more and more and more of agitative status. So we call that as living in materialism. That is not living, that is struggling to live. Keeping on manifesting is struggling to live but don't know how to live. And manifesting towards the spiritualism is living the life. So that your life is proved to be the life. You have to prove it is a life, is it not? The other is struggling to live. He has not lived. At the end of the day, years, what did you do? Nothing. Keeping on changing myself from this to this, this to this, this to this. And a tapasvi who died or not died, or he is still living, what happened? I am the same as I was born. There is no birth and there is no death to me, but for another man, he dies 1,000 times. and is born 1001 times. Not the other way around. So Bhagavan said here, who is it? Vayu Bhagavan, we said no? Vayu Bhagavan, personifying himself into the bull, the Jnanam. The bull tells Satyakama, hey Satyakama, the good looking one, Saumya, that the 1 foot of the Brahman is consisting of 4 parts and called the manifested. Prakasha. Manifestation is also Prakasha. So Prakasha means knowledge. Prakasha is knowledge. The knowledge is supposed to be used to reach the knowledge is the Prakasham. The knowledge is supposed to be used for manifestation of the mind to reach the unmanifest status, not for keeping on going for multiplications of the manifestations, multiplications of the imaginations, multiplications of the experiments and agitations in life. Very important chapter, small word, but the whole universe is incorporated in this small paragraph. See, beauty of the Upanishad, beauty of the Shastra. As I told you, to reach that, he said, so in order to reach that, what is the way? He said that Disha is what you're saying. The one, next sloka, he confirms it. Okay, we go to the next sloka. He says that Saya etamevam vidwas chatushkalam padam brahmanah prakashavanityupaste prakashavanismil loke bhavati prakashavato halogajjayati ya etamevam vidwas chatushkalam padam brahmanah prakashavaanityupaste iti panchama khandah. This is 452. This is 45.
We finished 453.
453 we have finished. Just now this one. He who having known this way, this 1 foot of the Brahman consisting of 4 parts, meditates on it as manifested, becomes renowned in this world. He who having known this the way, this 1 foot of Brahman is consisting of 4 parts, meditates on it as manifested, wins the manifested worlds. So, it's a question of, again, these are all meditation. Everything is a meditation. Meditation again, we have told you meditation. Somebody else, I was reading somewhere yesterday, meditation, I am meditating 17 hours and all that. Some great man has written somewhere. As I told you, it is always that it's not 17 hours. If somebody asks me, 24 hours one should be on meditation. As I told you, one should be always in the status of meditation. The meditative status. That means unchangeable status. Manifestations are no more there. Nothing is attracting him. There is nothing to attract. When the mind is attracted towards all this manifested world, then only the static unmanifested state is not enjoying the life, not enjoying the truth, not enjoying the existence. So one has to be stable, steady all the 24 hours. Is there any time? Should there be any time that there should be no meditative state? No. Throughout one should be on the meditative state. That's called meditative state. Meditative state in the sense is not that, not intentionally. We conclude and construed meditation as an act to be done. No. It's not an act. It's a being. You are. That's a character. That's a being. How to explain? That is what you are. That your status is that. What is the changeable, fickle-minded? What we call it as now I am this. Next time I am this. Next moment I am this. Next moment I am this. Is one status. Another status is I am always the same, is called meditative status, which is better. Indecisiveness on one side, and changes in me, change of me, I and you and me, we, are, they. I become all this sometimes. Or Brahmasmi, meditative state. To be in that only status. That which doesn't change. That which doesn't change me and I don't change is that meditative state. Neither time nor kala, disha, and attractions, attachment or any other things that doesn't change me. And I am not getting into all this. Is called the meditative state or unmanifest state. So it's called the one who understands none of these dishas, who that where it is rising. We said that what is that? Rising, setting, dishas. Let it be any disha. As I said, wherever as we referred that Guru Gita also. Dakshinamurti Stotram also, wherever the Guru Pada is there, that is that disha, whichever disha you are looking for. Is the status, that means what is that? See, in that sentence is good enough. That means that is your disha, whichever disha you are thinking. So there is no difference in the dishas. He says whether it is east, what, now, for the reference we are telling Prajip, Pradiji, Dakshinamurti, Udiji. There is no difference in all these things. Why? Because the one who doesn't make any differentiation in dishas and do this, he what happens? He wins the manifested worlds. These are all manifested worlds. In order to know the manifested world, what happens? These differences of the manifestation has to be removed from the conception. When the establishing, concepting thought will be there, there are 4 dishas, I am divided into 4. When I say these 4 dishas are converged, nothing but one, there are no dishas, I win over the dishas. Is it not? So I win over the manifested worlds of dishas, what we call. How do you manifest? What do you mean by what do you understand by manifestation of winning over the manifested world of dishas? Very important sentence in this whole sloka. He, the 1 foot of the Brahman consisting of rods, meditates on it as manifested. Meditates on that as manifested. These 4 dishas are manifested. As manifested, he wins the manifested worlds. That's why I have read that here also. Same thing. But the language is different. Mind doesn't pick up signals of that. Is where the knowledge is occurred. Why this is not picking up? Because the establishment of the jnanam has not yet come. We have to understand why it is happening. The establishment of the jnanam has not come. Even now, the mind is in the status of manifestation. It has not reached the status of unmanifest. If it reaches the status of unmanifest, my sentence, my word of this, that he wins over the world of manifested worlds, and the sentence of just giving you all these examples to understand the pros and process of it, the mind, how it goes. That he wins over means what? Here he says that he says that there are 2 sentences. That he says that the process is known as Shravanam, where one gains the knowledge of his real nature through the revelation of the scriptures, from the Guru, is one part. Second is that this is followed by Nididhyasana, takes you towards that manana, and then at a point of time consider oneself as limited and mortal physical being confined to boundaries of the body-mind complex is removed. This points, 3 points which I told you, and this point wins over the manifested world. See, is it different? You see how you pinpoint? Is it not? Now you understand, is it not? Yeah, that naturally. What is he saying? Throughout Shravanam, constant changing in the mind that these are not dishas. Through the Shravanam, these are not dishas. Then Nididhyasana, they are one. One is that these are not dishas through Shravanam. Through Nididhyasana, they are one. Then through the identification of by oneself and removal of the body-mind complex, he says, there is not even one. When there is one, when there is one, when the body-mind complex is there, the 4 dishas which is converted has become one. And when the body-mind complex is not there, where is the disha? This is what is called wins over the manifested. How he wins over the manifested world? No? Not with a chariot standing there on top and saying that Panchajanyam, blowing the shank and saying, I am the winner of the war. Neither there is war nor the I is there. He is the winner of the dishas. Neither he is there nor the dishas are there. That's called the winner. Not that winner is there existing, taking, waiting for somebody to give him a gift, present, that you are the winner. Position 1, position 2, position 3 and below. Sorry. Beautiful it is. It's called reaching the level of no dishas. Then again, so I'm just telling you what is called the manifested, winning over the manifested world. What do you learn from Shravanam? I'm talking about the first. We had 3 points I spoke for manifestation. What is the Shravanam? Through Shravanam, what am I supposed to do? Through Shravanam, I am supposed to do is that wiping out the 4 dishas. Wiping out the 4 dishas. What are the 4 dishas? What do you mean by disha? Dishas are that my perverted thoughts in different directions is called dishas. This is right, that is right. I must go this meditation, I must go to so and so Swamiji who has been fasting for another last 3 months. He did not take only potatoes, he was boiling and taking, so I must go to him. Go to Himalayas, do tapasya and go there. This is all, what are they? Dishas. Searching for knowledge, searching for Guru. I myself now not ready. A man who doesn't know what is he searching, how will he search it out? First of all, he should know what is he searching. Oh, movies mein mazak, that jokes are there. No. In a house, when the important Grihanatha, important person of the household, he is looking for something. When he is looking for something to please him, all look for something. What are you looking? I don't know. He only knows what he is looking. We are also looking. Some jokes are there. I have seen so many jokes. What are you looking? Nobody knows what are you looking. He is looking for something. I am also looking for something. What is it? Something that he only knows. If that is the condition, how will he find out what he is looking? This is the status of many people, that they do not know what to look for. That's why lot of confusion in the mind that whether I should do that, whether I should do this, whether I should see this, whether that is called the satya, or this is called the life, or this is called the attraction, or this is called the enjoyment, this is the truth, whether I should go here or there, or should I sit in between, then see, and he will sit in between and see only. Man who sits at the entrance gate of the temple and thinking whether should I go inside or should I go outside, neither he sees inside nor he sees outside actually. He doesn't know what is happening inside. Doesn't know outside. So the fence sitters are always like that. Most of them are like that. Wish to follow. These are all dishas. So in order to win over the dishas, you have to remove all these dishas. How can you remove all these dishas? Only through jnanam, through Guru. Established. So that neither inside the temple, nor middle of the temple, nor outside the temple, or that way, or that Guru, or that Himalaya, or this mountain which is important, or this under the sea meditation, above the sea meditation, beach way meditation, which is important. All the confusions of disha. This is all dishas. Which way should I go? The mind gets attracted to various dishas. Winning over the dishas can be done. Why it is happening? Why? Because of ignorance. What is east, west, north and south? Ignorance. What is jnanam? It's only one disha. As I told you, when it rotates, when the earth rotates, east, west, north, south and all changes. Every moment it changes. Which is the truth? That's only a reference point you have kept for certain purposes. Fine. Utilize it. But don't establish that is the truth. It's not necessary. The door is kept for opening as well as closing. So don't have to keep it static. When it is necessary, open it. When it is necessary, close it. That's why the doors are there. The door of the mind is also should be like that. When it is not necessary, where it is not necessary should be closed, and where it is necessary should be opened. Dishas. Who will win over the manifestations of the dishas? Wins the manifestation of disha means what? Not the one who understands what is east, west, north, south. One who eliminates the dishas for finding the truth. Elimination of disha is that identifying. What is that? Here we are talking about disha means disha is that identification of Brahman. Identification of Brahman and the truth and establishment of the truth and keeping the life living and the benefit of living and the result of living and the winning over the life can be done only by jnanam. That is why Jnana Marga has been given great importance. That is why Bhagavad Gita has been created only to identify the Jnanam in order to wake up. Hey Arjuna, he says. What do you mean by wake up? Wake up means come out of the darkness of the Ajnanam into the brightness of the Prakasha of the Jnanam, which is known as the waking up, status of waking up. Jagrata. Jagrata. Yes. Jagrata. Jagrata. Wake up. Wake up is the call. It's a small word. We all must have heard about it thousands of times from many people, many documents, many. You must have read it also. You also must be knowing yourself. Jagrata. What is Jagrati? Jagrati is that to reach the status of unmanifest is Jagrata. So long you are manifesting, you are in the Jagrata Swapna Sushupta Avastha, not in the Turiya Avastha. The Avastha is changing as manifested world. Mostly in the Swapna Avastha. Mostly in the Swapna Avastha. Like Raja Janaka has been told by Ashtavakra. That's why Ashtavakra is important. In Ashtavakra Gita, that's the most important thing, Jagrata. So not in the Swapnavastha today. Most of the people are living only in Swapnavastha, and they think the Swapnavastha is the truth because it looks the truth. It feels, you experience it is true. How can I say it is not there? You are absolutely. In Swapna we are absolutely as live as we are in the Jagrata Avastha. That's why I said, which is the Jagrata Avastha? A. Ashtavakra. That or this? What is a Swapna? Swapna is not only while sleeping. Most of the Swapna is done while not sleeping. Most of the Swapna is seen when not sleeping. That's a Swapna. We all think, Swapna means only a few hours. Doesn't matter. Little Swapna is always all right. We can afford to see that. Winning the manifested world here, the Disha, see. Why I am established? Please understand, what is your Disha? Only one Disha, Dhyana. Listening through the Guru, the Dhyana. I will take copies of this and give you. Every day you read it so that at least hammer on the rubber. Simply check. I got that jelly pad to wear on my shoes when we are wearing a heel pad. No? When I press it, it goes, and I take it out, it comes back. For the last so many years it is like that, no change. Static. So he says, what is the manifested world? Meditates on it as the manifested. He reaches after death. Here, what is he saying? He reaches after death the manifested worlds associated with gods and others. Again another explanation. Here. This again. Well, it comes to our status only. That means manifested reaches after death. When will one reach actually, the person who is in materialistic world? When will he be at peace? When will his mind stop ticking to the agitations? Only in the death, only after death. Is one explanation. But here in Upanishad, no normal simple words are used. After the death means what? After the death of the ignorance, the knowledge awakens, he wins over the dishas, is the meaning of it. That's a death. It has to take, the death has to take to that. This one. And manifested word associated with gods and others. The manifested world associated with Tamo, Rajo, Sato gunas. Gods and others. The gods are those which have got Sato gunas. The gunas, which you get something from them. You get the blessing, you get this, you get that. What's Sato guna? Even though they are gods. They are devatas. They are gods means what? Devatas. Devatas are gunas. And others. The one who wins over those gunas also. That's what I said that. Any disha, nothing. I covered all that. He has, Swamiji has covered about the gods and others, he said. That means it covers everything. Even I told you one word little before. This. Even the God is not eligible to, give Diksha to a disciple. Is what Upanishad said. Here it says. Satyakama himself, he will establish it. Then who? Only Guru. Because it's embodied. What is good? Again, not the individual. Embodiment of the Jnanam only can give Diksha. Even a Devata is having Jnanam because of the Guru only. That is why Brihaspati has been named as the Deva Guru. Why Devata should have a Guru? You got it. We are saying on one side we are calling it as Devata, and we also call Brihaspati as Deva Guru, Devata's Guru. Why the Devata should have a Guru? Even the Gunas needs a Guru. Even the gods need a Guru. That means Devatas also need a Guru. Only through that Guru. That means embodiment of Jnana, embodiment of the Brahman, embodiment, true representation of the Brahman, reflection of the Brahman, as in the mirror. That's all. There's no shape and form, but shape and form is created. That's why the Brahman is creating the Brahman with a shape and form for the eyes of the disciples. Depending upon the cataract he has got, the shape and form changes. It's a cataract only. Yes. When there is cataract, we find different shape and form. When that is removed, we find the shape and form is totally different. That Ajnanam, the layer of the Ajnanam, when it is removed, you will find the same shape and form of the Guru. I always quote that Prashna Upanishad for that. How the disciple has seen when he came to Rishi Pipalada, how he looked at how the six disciples of them, great sons of Brihaspati and all that, they came, and then when they undergone the teaching, they have said, "Hey Maharishi, Rishi Pipalada, hey Maharishi, please give us the Jnana." The six questions are asked, and the sixth chapter at the end of it, "Hey Parambika," he said. That after the Jnanam, perception of the Jnanam, the cataract has been removed, and the same Rishi Pipalada, same disciples, he addresses him like about the addressing. I have already talked about it. How he addresses like this, and after the Jnanam he addresses like this. You see what happened? The wheel is removed. The Ajnanam, the wheel of the Ajnanam is removed. That is why the Guru is necessary. That's embodiment of that. Embodiment of the Brahman, which is Jnanam. That is why Prajnanam Brahma. It is Brahman. Mahavakyas of one of the Vedas, Prajnanam Brahma. Beautiful. That's the manifestation. So this manifestation, you have to overcome this manifestation, then only. The dishas, here we are talking about the dishas. So Satyakama, when you overcome this difference of the dishas or different directions of your life, dishas, you can explain for, I think, days together. I think you got basically the idea. The disha is not only the directions. The directions, they mean the directions. In which direction you are thinking, in which direction you are seeing, in which direction you are living, in which direction you are listening, in which direction you are perceiving. As I told you, a perceiver should have the purity and the clarity, then only he can perceive the Vedas inside him. That's why we go and bathe in the tank earlier days in southern part of India. I think even all over India, the initial first, olden days, they go and bathe, and with the wet clothes or without the top at all, that or wet clothes, and straight away they go to the temple and pray. The principle being that he has to purify himself in order to present himself in front of the God, in order to perceive him in the right way. Same way, in order to understand the Jnanam, he has to take a dip in the river of the Jnanam and then come and sit, so that the perception will be the Jnanam. Purity can only conceive the purity. Impurities, if it is perceiving the purity that is perceived will become impure, adulterated, we call it. That's why there is a word called adult in the English language. Who adulterates? who is capable of adulterating. In the childhood he is innocent. The innocence get adulterated when he becomes. You can fill up the blank. Then when frustration comes, old age, vardhakya, vruddhata, adulteration is over. Whatever adulterated, it has become old. So, vardhakya. And there is only one stage left for such persons. There is no vanaprastha, there is no sannyasa, nothing. Because cycle has to be faster there, Suck out, come back again, go have a dip. So, iti Panchama Khanda, the fifth, 4, 5, that is the fifth section, section 5, is finished. Now we are going for 4, 6, 1. Chapter 4, section 6, sloka 1. We continue with Satyakama. So we have only reached where? We have reached only one stage. One bull told that, and one who Devata has told. That 4 pada has been told. 1 pada divided into 4 pada. Now he says further. So why Bhagavan says to Satyakama, Hey Satyakama, Agnishte padam vakteti saha shvo bhutega abhiprastapaya chakara ta yatra visayam bhabhustatragni upasamadhaya ga uparudhya samidhamadhaya pashadaprehe prangpopavivesha Agnishthe padam vakti. He said, hey, Satyakama, the Agni will tell you the next pada. Agnishthe padam vakteti. He will tell you. Next pada. So you must listen. Why Bhagavan said, I have told whatever I have to tell about the dishas, because I am the controller of the dishas. Agni, now Agni has to tell you something. So Agni Bhagavan, Agni Devata will tell you something. The next foot, about the next foot. When the next day dawned, why we said about the feet, bull has got 4 feet, 4. So 4 dishas. 1 foot has got 4 dishas. Every foot has got 4 foot. So 4 divided into 4. That means the bull, which is the embodiment of the Devata, which is embodiment of Devata, is supported by the 4 legs. What are the 4 legs? And each one has got 4 legs. Like that, 16 legs. 16 dishas. 16 dishas, 16 kalas, 16 Shodasha Vidya. Vidyas are there. These are all based on that. Every god has got 4 hands. Every god, Chatur, Bhujam. What is Chatur Bhujam? Chatur Bhujam, 4 dishas. So 4 heads for Brahma, 4 directions. Again 4 dishas. The whole area is Brahma. All the 4 dishas. So you see, all the 4 is connected with that. So here the second status comes. So first status has been removed. Now the second leg. Second leg, why Bhagavan said, now the Agni Bhagavan will tell you, Agni Devata will tell you what is about the next. So when the next day came, he drove the herd of bulls, cattle, at whatever time and place they gathered together at nightfall. Then and there, having stopped the cattle, he lighted up a fire. He lighted up the fire, having brought the faggots, sat behind the fire, near it, facing the east. Prachi. The first Disha is Prachi. So looking at the facing the east, he sat down and prayed the Agni Devata. Tam Agnir Bhuvata Yet Kamam U Iti Bhagavaitiha Pratishruvata. So fire. Agni Devata said, Hey Satyakama. So he said, yes. Pratishruvatra. Yes. Revered, respectable, sir, respectable, revered, great noble man. I bow. Brahmanaha somyaye padam bravani bravidu me bhagavaniti tasmai hevacha prithvi kalantariksham kaladhyau kala samudraha kalaishavai somya chatushkalah pado brahmano anandavan nama. Now he says, hey, good looking one, hey Somya, Brahmanaha, same as that, te padam, Bhravaniti Bravitu. This I already explained you in the last class. Bhavaniti and Bravitu, both of them have respected each other by way of addressing and said that I wish to tell you, again this, I wish to tell you, the 1 foot of the Brahman, please tell me. To him he said that earth, now Bhagavan, Prithvi is 1 foot, one part of the second foot, Prithvi. Then the Antariksham, Prithvi Kala, Antariksham in between earth and the Akasha. Antariksham, the mediate space in between that. Then Akasha, then Kala, Antariksham Kala Dhyauhu. Dhyauhu is what? Dhyauhu is that Dhyauhu means heaven, actually. It's not Akasha. Dhyauhu is heaven. Heaven is one part. Then he said Samudraha, ocean, is the another part. Klaiva ye Somya Chatushkala Pado Brahmano Antarvanama. This is Brahman. These are all the four. What is the difference? There he says that, oh good looking one, earth is one part, intermediate is where the Brahman is surely is that 1 foot called the limitless, having 4 parts, naturally limitless. Bhumi, Akasha or heaven, Antariksham in between that, and the Patala, which is ocean, which is called this, covers the whole thing. So limitless it is. No, that limitlessness is called, hey Satyakama, this is called Brahman. So now Prithvi, limitless, having the 4 parts. What is Prithvi? Go each by one. Or don't want to go? We all know Prithvi. If we know Prithvi, we will go to Antariksham. Antariksham we all know. We all live in Antariksham only. Never on the earth. Everybody is in Antariksham. Is it not? Everybody is flying on the Antariksham. Trishangu. Prithvi. Prithvi is very important. Why he has told Prithvi, the limitless. This put together is limitless, not alone. Right? Put together, everything is interdependency is there. No? There is interdependency with all this. Prithvi alone cannot be called as Prithvi if the Antariksha is not there, or the Swarga is, what is it? Heaven, Swarga is not there, or Padala is not there. Prithvi is called because they are there. Why? Because there is an interdependency or intradependency and interdependency, both are there. Yes? Now the interdependency. They are all interdependent. Intradependency comes when the fire and air comes in. Intradependency. This is interdependent. Now Prithvi is that Prithak. Where there is no future. There is no past, there is no present. When there is no future means what? If the future is not there, past is not there. If the past and future is not there, the present is also not there. which doesn't have any status of past, present and future is called Prithvi. According to me, I'm just whatever comes to me. Sometimes I may be wrong. You can correct me. Prithvi, that which doesn't have Kala Desha. Prithvi doesn't have any Kala. Is it have? Yesterday's Bhumi, tomorrow's Bhumi. We all divide the Bhumi. This is my Bhumi, that is this Bhumi. After dividing the Bhumi, I go into the Bhumi, I become the Bhumi. What happened to your ownership? You owned the Bhumi once upon a time and the Bhumi owned you yourself. You are no more there. That is your Bhumi, is it not? Now so Bhumi is there, now Parabhumi is there, no Bhumi is there. Prithvi is at Akar, which no past, present and future. That's called Bhumi. That's why we call it as Bhumi as a Devata also. Bhumi is a Devata. Bhumi Devi, Ma we said, Mother we said. Why? Because Garbham is there in that. In Bhumi, in Prithvi there is Garbham. Wherever there is Garbha, it is Mother only. Bhumi, Garbhatalam, from the Garbha only everything is produced. Everything is come from inside. You think you have planted the trees. I always tell them, who planted the first mango tree? You fellows. Whatever modification, grafting and things have been done later according to you, only from that only. Not that you have created something. Various mangoes have been created. From where? From the same mango tree. Prithvi is that Prithak, that where there is no change. Where it produces the one which doesn't have a change only can create changes. That which is changeless. That which is limitless. What is that? Beyond the limitations. That which is limitless, that which is changeless will create that which is changeless. The mango tree which has been created, still a mango tree only. It has not converted its status, is it not? Even today, what has created the Bhumi? Bhumi has created the same changeless for the benefit of the humanity. Humans who are born, died, different generations have come and gone. Everything is Jivatma only for execution of karmas. For what purpose? For execution of karmas. Who can support the karma bhumi, we called it. We call so many things, so many names for the bhumi. Karma bhumi. For execution of my karmas, I have to be born in the bhumi only. There is no other place. Bhumi is that. Why? Why one has to be born in the Prithvi only for execution of karmas? Why not in Antariksha? Why not in the Swarga or in Patala? Where it is changeless. The place where it is changeless should be the place where the experiment has to be done. If the base itself, substratum itself is shaking, how can you be stable on that? So substratum should be steady. Prithvi is that which doesn't have the past, present and future. So in order to remove my past, present and future, I have to be in a place where there is no past, present and future. That's why it's a karma bhumi. If I live in the past, if I live in the future. Whereas Swarga is not like that. Swarga is also, there is no kala, there is no desha, nothing. There is no past, present and future in Swarga also. But Swarga doesn't have the garbha in that. Experiment cannot be done. There you can live. In Swarga, you can live. You cannot do any experiment in Swarga, can you? No. In Patala you cannot do experiment, you can live only. Where you can do the experiments? Experiments of the past, present and future, proving that it is no more there, can be done only in Prithvi, because it has got Garbha, it can produce, it can product, it can project, it can do many things, and you can do anything you like. In Swarga, who can go to Swarga? Only those people who have done the Sattva Guna. In Swarga only can go to, in Bhumi only can go to Swarga. So he will be only in the Sattva Guni. He doesn't do anything else. Here, he does the Rajo, Tamo, everything. Am I right? Could you do this? This is called experimentation. Through the experiments, learning to be above the gunas and going to Turiya Avastha and going to the Swarga. That Avastha comes only from the Prithvi. That's why Pritha. Prithak means separation. Prithak. In Hindi, I think Prithak is separation. No? Am I right?
Yeah.
Prithak Hona is separating. The one who separates you is Prithvi. Prithak. From what? From the Sharira of you to the Atma of you. Separating is Prithvi. The one who won over the separation is Prithvi also. Who has won over the separation is Prithvi. Prithvi can win over, you can win over the separation from the status of Prithvi. Only in Prithvi. Who attains Swarga? Who attains Patala? Who attains Antariksha? Who attains Devata? Who attains Ishvara? The one who is in Prithvi. Is there any limit for Prithvi? Any experiment to have any limits in experiment? You can do any experiment in Prithvi? You can do any experiment. You can die, be born again. You be born again like a insect. You are born again tree. You be born again a human. You be born again, inhuman itself. Human, inhuman, all can be born. Everything is accepted in Prithvi because they are all experiments being done. Is why limitless. Where can you learn limitations? Where can you learn limitation? Where can you learn limitlessness through limitations? Prithvi. In other places, through limitations, limitless cannot be identified. You can reach the limitless in Swarga. But through limitations you cannot reach limitless in Swarga. It's not possible. That can be done only in Prithvi. Because people like limitations with too close to limited. Again, they are unable to come out. Any number of times Prithvi is ready to give a charge to experiment on the Prithvi for the limitless ones, limited ones. They are limited. Okay, come here, learn the limitlessness. Look at me, how I am surviving from the yugas. Pralaya has come, number of yugas have changed, number of Brahmas have changed, number of things have changed. Still, I am the same, limitless. On that limitless, learning the limitlessness from the Bhumi. That's why it's also known as Kshama Devata. Now the Puranas, they say that Bhumi Devi is Kshama. The bearing capacity, the Kshama, should be like a Bhumi Devi. All sorts of atrocities done on the Bhumi is taken care by the Bhumi. Without any complaint, without doing any harm to you. Once in a while, to teach you a lesson, it gives a small jerk, that's all. Finished. Oh, there. Uttarakand has become Dakshinakand. It's only to teach you a lesson. It's teaching you also. That's why Devi, Bhumi Devi is. Prithvi is that meant for experimental experiences. In the limitlessness, the limited one comes into the limitlessness and learns the limitlessness in the Prithvi, is why it is known as beautiful. it not fantastic that how we are enveloped, surrounded, equipped with all sorts of teaching in each and every step of it for learning the limitlessness Brahman. We are adamant, no, I will not learn. No? Still Bhumi says, okay, come back again next birth. Maybe you will have a change of your mind by the time. Accepts you is called a Prithvi. So for some time let us be in the Prithvi, then we will go to Antariksha. Shambho.